Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. So today we are going to be continuing on with more coding. So that programming guy is going to be teaching me more, just like he was last week. We're going to go for about an hour, and then afterwards there'll be about a 5-minute break, and I'll be continuing on with Persona. But let us get on with the coding, and let myself unmute it. Hey there.
Hello, my good sir.
All right, so you ready?
I'm always ready.
Good to know. Ooh, actually, I gotta change something.
Go ahead. Change all the stuff.
Well, I just wanted to move
Not
my.
ready for classes. I see.
Yeah, that's where I kind of tuned in. I'm like, might as well write something down as a message.
I see. Yeah. Mostly just because classes in Python and objects in Python, I have no idea. I know you don't know what I mean when I say classes and objects yet. I think it feels like they were added to Python after the fact, and they're like, oh crap, we need to have objects and classes in here. What are we gonna do? So it's weird, but I'm like, you're doing Python, you're sticking with Python, we're gonna stick with Python. Are you ready to learn?
I am ready to learn.
Yes, let's learn.
Nice.
Okay, so last episode, time you were here, you learned a bit about ifs, else's, you made a little thingy that got input from the user, you printed things to the console, called them a pussy if they didn't want to jump, and then if they jumped, they died, which so you were fucked if you did it, and fucked if you did not.
Yeah. Died of starvation, too. Not even of hitting a floor. They just died of starvation.
They died of starvation.
Yep.
That's a long time to fall. I wonder if the body would, like, if something weird would happen to the body if you just started to fall for that long in the first place.
Don't know. I don't think there's ever been a test to do that.
Yeah, So we are going to learn a bit more. So the if and else thing is called a control structure. There is a bit more to that. We're going to go on about loops. So loops are kind of what it sounds like. Where like if you need a certain kind of code, a certain part of code to execute X many times or a defined number of times, we can do that. And you're also going to learn. I think we're going to go a bit more Booleans, and then I'm hoping we will end up with a choose the number guess. It's basically you would go, here's my guess, and the computer would go, are you high or low, and you would guess a number.
Okay.
So to start out, we're going to go about a bit more on the conditionals. So it's also called branching too. So we like to branching, conditionals. So we had the before that, I have to back up a little bit. So one thing I didn't tell you last stream because ran out of time was what goes into the if statement. So you did a simple like kind of like if answer something like that, right?
Yeah.
You did something like that. This, right, because Python doesn't use parentheses. That is a conditional. So basically, we ended up with that one. That's conditional. So it says is if answer is equal to yes. And so that's conditional. So answer is equal to yes actually gives you back a Boolean variable. Boolean value, and that Boolean value is then looked at to see if it's true or false.
Yeah.
So there's multiple ways to get a Boolean value, true or false value. Is this number less than 5? Is this number greater than 10? Is the result from this function which returns a Boolean true or false?
Yeah, it's just like the if statements in Excel.
Yes, exactly. So we have if x is greater than 5, if x is less than or equal to 10, so we have less than or equal, we have greater than or equal, so it's 6. If x is equal to 4, and I believe you can also then negate that, which is, because I know in other languages it's that's what it is. Then you can do if x does not equal 4, so the exclamation mark is not. So you have multiple ways to compare things.
Okay.
And then you have and you have ors. So you could do like if x is, so if you want to test to see if the number is between 4 and like 7 and also include those numbers, you could do if x is greater than or equal to 4 and x is less than or equal to 7.
Okay.
If you want to see if the numbers are less than 4 or greater than 7, you could do if x is less than 4. I think it's or x is 7. Now the spaces here are optional. I just add them because it makes it easier to see. So and ors actually have like, you can actually make a table out of this to see when and is true and when and is false, and or is true, or is false. Because basically there's kind of two tests here. We have x is less than 4 and we have x is greater than 7. Those are actually two Boolean tests that return a Boolean answer. So to show you this Boolean table, which is kind of logic, so we're going to do and first. We're going to have value 1. We're going to make a really interesting table. Value 2 is so this is the and. So if the value 1 is true and value 2 is true, what gets returned is true. If value 1 is true and value 2 is false, this actually does return false. Maybe it does. I'll get back to it. So basically we're making a table, and so this is saying Alright, so this is saying, for example, line 12, we're saying if the first test is true, and then we have a second test, if the second test is true, we're joining them with an and, like on line 7, the overall test will be true.
Okay.
Everything else is false. And the reason why everything else is false is because and is one or the other. So everything has to be true. And how I remember this is I think that and is very pessimistic.
Mm-hmm.
If it senses a false anywhere, it's going like, no, I'm done. It's a teenager.
Pretty much.
And is a teenager. So, or I'm just going to copy that. Or is almost the same. Where if it's true, if basically true, you are correct. So or is very optimistic. These are like newborn parents when they first see their kid before they realize they don't get
Yep.
Or is very realistic. Now here's actually an interesting one. In programming, there's something called an XOR. So we see XOR. XOR means one or the other, but not both. So in this case, true and true would actually return. And so the OR that we use in English is an XOR in programming speak.
Okay.
And then you can chain multiple ands and ors together. So if you go back to line 7, we could do or x is equal to 5. Now, as you can see, if you keep kind of chain ands and ors, it gets really confusing. What's evaluated first, what's evaluated second, so we can use parentheses. That's going a bit too far. But we can basically chain ands and ors together, and this will return one Boolean value. And that Boolean value is then used in an if statement to be like, is this true or false? So we could actually store this. So we could go and then basically we can store the result of this entire expression into a variable called myBoolean.
Okay.
Also, the reason why true and false is called Boole or Boolean is in reference to James Boole, who was I think, logician. He did a lot of things in logic. So yeah. So now with that, now kind of aimed with this knowledge of comparisons, equality, non-equality, with ands and ors, you're pretty much almost there. The only thing I'm confused about right now is there's something called short-circuited evaluation. So let's say at the and on line 15, if the and saw false, if short circuit evaluation is enabled in Python, it'll see just one false and it won't evaluate value 2. It'll
Okay.
see the first false and be like, I'm done. I'm done.
Handy.
Handy. Or is the same way but with true. And so that way, and it's added, I forgot the exact situation when this works, but this is added to be like, if you have to do one test, and then you basically can't do the second test if test 1 is a true or false or some sort of value. I think we'll get there.
I mean, that would save on CPU usage, wouldn't it?
It would. I mean, yes, you are very correct. It would save on CPU usage because there's one less
Calculation.
There's one less computation, but considering that with how fast CPUs are now, it doesn't really matter unless you're like in embedded programming. So I'm going to do this. So I just copied everything so I could comment them all out. So they're all commented now.
How did you do that so quickly?
I copied everything to Notepad++, and then on Notepad++, I added a hash to the beginning of every line, and then I copied it back here.
Okay.
Notepad++, yeah. So that's what I did because I'm lazy and I don't know how to do it. So those are comparisons. Those is basically how you get a true or false value. So now, let's move on to loops. And actually, this loop is good because in video game development, it's called a game loop, which we'll get to down the road. Now. But basically, a video game is just one giant loop. I'll explain it anyway. Why not?
Sure.
Video games. So in video games, you have to, so basically you have a loop. At the start of the loop, it's loop. Get player input. So this is like, are they pressing up? Are they pressing down? Are they pressing left, right, A, B, that kind of thing. Update internals. So this is like, are they pressing up? If so, make them go, make their position one step further and change their sprite to this animation, play this sound effect, do this thing, and then it's update the screen. And then that's it. Then it'll go back to the beginning. So this is a very rudimentary game loop, because you have to consistently see what the player's doing, update internals, and then update the screen.
Okay.
And for most video games, especially in the AAA area and space, updating the screen is the place that actually takes the most power. So probably you've noticed this if you're playing a video game, like I know at least on PlayStation 2, the Star Ocean game, you get to this area that's really snowy, and the game will start to lag there. And the lag is not because probably the computation, but the draw into the screen.
Oh, what was that game that was actually recently run in GDQ that runs at about 5 seconds per frame because of how graphically intense it was on one of the Sega consoles?
I have no idea. I have not seen it. I have not seen all the games at GDQ.
Yeah, it was run recently. I think it's like something Highlight or something. It was hilarious because they're even saying like this was never meant to go to it, and they just went all like over top with 3D graphics on a Sega, late Sega console. Hey, Nick Raptor, how's it going? Hope you're doing well.
It's Nick Raptor. I know you.
Oh, KO Kane, thank you for the sub for 6 months in a row.
Good for him. Good for you as well.
How you doing, buddy? All right.
Repack for 6 months. Oh yeah, that's your thought.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So we got loops. Well, no, we're sort of starting loops. So there's two kinds of loops. There's a loop where you have to go. I need to run this an infinite number of times until I tell you to stop, or an undefined number of times until you to stop. And then there's a loop of, I know how many times I want you to walk. So we're going to start with the first one, because that is a bit easier.
Okay.
So this is called while. W-H-I-L-E. And I'm going to enter everything so we can hear the top of the list. While, so basically, W-H-I-L-E, X is less than 5. Oh my god, right, there's no freaking... I hate Python. Like, I'm fine, I like that I'm learning Python, but I'm still going to say I hate Python.
Yeah, I know how that is.
While loops, did I do it right? I did right, okay, cool. So we also have an integer called x. Cool. And then we can say while we print things again. Yeah, we go print. So oh right. No, yeah, doesn't print have these things?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Right, they don't. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Python, why are you so Python-y? Okay. So basically, x 0. So now, the only other thing we have to do in this loop is go x equals x. So what this does is this will go, at line 33, we initialize x to be 0. At 34, we go while x is less than 5. So, with the conditions I showed you above, x is less than 5, so that would be true. X is less than 5. We print hello world, and then we update x by 1. So now x is 1. And then we keep going until x is 5.
Actually, I got a question for you, just on this as well, because this is just randomly popping in my head. Is there a way to put X into the message that's being printed so they can see, like, let's say, we have it so it's like killing random mobs and it's just a text thing, and it's like while it's less than 5, it will just keep killing mobs, and then it'll just add 1, then it'll go to 2, then it'll go to 3, then it'll go to 4, then it'll go to 5, and then it'll stop.
Yes, I know what you're talking about, and I can tell you how to do before on Python in alignments. Look at it again. What exists? But yeah, no, that is actually a great question, and we can do that. It's just where did I find it? Aha! Almost. Okay, that's what it is. We use the dot format. So I'm going to phone.
Yep.
Yes. If we go here, hello world. All right. So now I'm gonna let you try this.
Okay.
So what I did was I'm right now have a learn X and Y minutes. Learn Python 3 and Y. I looked up format. So here's what you do. So basically, let me first explain line 36, then you can edit line 35 to do what you need to do.
Okay.
So at the end of the string, because basically this is a string. It's called a string. This is a string, and it has functions. It's a string class, and the string class has functions. My quick cut to class is not now, but it exists. It's a thing. You can do a dot stuff on it. So we're saying the name is going to be replaced with self.name. I'm going to read this right now and just that programming guy. And then message is, there we go. Now it looks like stuff you can understand.
Okay.
So the name is TPG. Message is just says my message. So this would actually say, this would actually print out TPG that space. That's what the output would be.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be name and message. You could also do this. Both work. It's up to you what you want to do. So in Python, indexes start at 0. So TPG is index 0. My message is index 1. This is called zero-based indexing. Hi, Nick Raptor. Thank you for joining me on my stream. Cool. So, let me get this. Yeah. So, either way, you can do it one or both ways. So, with what you see the information on line 36 and 37, what do you think you will need to do? Go ahead, do it to get X in this message.
Oh, to get X into the message. All
yes,
right.
so you can see what X is. I believe that was what your question was.
Yeah, yes, it was. So I'm just gonna go. I want to just like completely update this anyway. So let's go. It was
do it. It's your code.
That name is killed. Then I want to do that. Then I go X that. Let's go with that for now. Okay, now I go over here. I'll go dot format.
Oh, it looks like you have to. No, yeah, keep going.
Okay. And then name equals and then comma. So then I would want to do.
You're doing good so far. Just let you know.
X.
So yeah, there you go.
Equals X.
Not 2 equals, just 1.
Equals X.
Yes. Go ahead, rename that X to something else.
Okay.
In the string, because I don't know if that would work. I think it will, but I'm not sure. There you go. Yeah, just number works. Cool. So
and then
you're gonna then.
Wait, there's. Yeah. Okay, yeah, no, because I was just double checking because there was 2 brackets here, so I was like, oh, okay, that one's from way back there. Okay.
Yeah, so I think that works. Why don't you press run and we'll see what happens.
Right, run is up there.
By the way, I love this because this is actually used to like interview people. I have an interview button, and I can rate my candidate.
How is this candidate doing that you are viewing? Because it seems he has failed.
We are in an infinite loop right now. Actually, nothing is being printed.
Yep.
Why does that? Yeah, that's how we did variables, right? X is equal to something.
Yeah.
See, this is what programming is. Yeah, this is what programming is. Figure it out. So, alright, that's... Oh, it ended! It didn't print anything out. Oh, that's... Why? It didn't print anything out. So if we go like this, right? If we go, print... Oh.
It's not even printing that.
Well.
What's going on?
So before this, my question is, okay, print PSIGN. It's kind of runtime. Okay, what did I add that's making this hate me? Is this just not working at all?
Well, actually, hang on. Let's try this. So,
okay.
Something is like, it's really not liking it. Because it's
all
not...
Right, here's what we're going to do. Yes.
Oh, actually, I got an idea. Let's see if...
Okay.
Maybe because it's not at the top. Nope. Okay, that's the end of my thought process.
Because I changed it to Python 3, so we're in Python. What the hell?
Did we break it?
None of this is working. That's so weird. Why isn't anything showing up? Because
Yeah.
it should. This is how print works. Hold on. Yeah, that doesn't work either. This is interesting. I have no idea what's going on right now. Because this is what we did oh, here's what I can do. Codebunk. There. I need to review my previous code. Nope, that's not what I need. So if I just go to Python 3. Interesting. I'm on a fresh Python, a fresh code bug, but that's not working.
If it were
So-
C family, I'd ask about missing semicolons. Yeah, unfortunately, I believe there's no semicolons in Python 3.
No, there's not semicolons. Like, I'm in C# right now, and it's correct, and it's not. Nothing's printing out.
Think Codebunk's broken?
It might be. That's really weird that it's broken. Frequently asked questions. Codebunk. What is private bunk? What is the session? How much does the session cost? Available teams, pricing. No, that doesn't. It's so interesting. Because if I go like this, yeah, you can see that. That says that.
Yeah. But it should be printing up here, right? Oh, wait, we can't even input anything in the top screen like we could before, which is...
Oh, you know what? Let's do this really quickly. I'm trying on Firefox. I wonder if I opened it there, if that would work. So I don't know if I used Firefox or if I used something else before. One with the following teams, I have 5 bunks, untitled Python community that exists. Bunk. If this works, I'll just have you come over here to a different one. Yeah, no, it doesn't work on my other Zilla Firefox. I have no idea what's going on. That's so weird.
we broke it.
All right then. I think we're gonna do this then. Online relative. Code editor. Online text editor. Collab edit. Code share.
So if I were making something on my own, just with coding, is there a work environment like this, like a program that I could use other than, you know, like Notepad?
I bet there are plenty of Python IDEs out there, but if there's not, you would have to, you would have to use Notepad++ to write and have something else that would input those Python scripts. I think
Okay.
there would be. I just don't know at the moment.
Okay. And did you change it to Python or Python 3?
So right now in Python 3, I'm
Okay.
trying something else.
Okay. Well, I'm watching your screen, what you're trying.
Man, I'm so fuck you. I'm so glad you guys can't see my keyboard.
But they can see your email.
Oh no. Bammy. Okay. There we go. So if I go to execute. Editor settings. Plain text. Syntax. Python.
I wonder. Nope. Give me a second.
Okay, have fun. Oh, that's a bad idea.
Okay, I'm back.
Aha, I think I found where I need to go. Oh god. Jesus Christ. Alright, well, I'm not gonna I'm gonna do okay, so I'm gonna do this one quickly. Can I go back? Back. Try demo.
Okay, so let's start at an hour. So recent broadcast.
So yeah, this is sometimes what happens where it just won't work. It's up to 7. This one I'm looking for?
Huh. Oh.
Yes.
Hang on a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I just decided to look at our previous one to see.
Yeah, and that's what I tried, and it's totally not working.
Oh.
If we would see, it just says we're running code, just not. Unless it's like I have no more free sessions, but I do. Well, I wish I could have figured this out beforehand. Okay, then here is what we are going to do instead.
Okay.
Because we are just going to print things out, and we're going to hope to God we're correct, because you're here to learn. So we're not going to have an interpreter. We're going to have it run. We're just going to do this and hope to God we are correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Like unless there's one second. I'll have caps lock on. Cool. You allow me to use Python. Submission Q. Where's the output? Oh, it's down below. System error. Syntax error, invalid syntax. Okay, we got something. It's not the best, but... Okay, so do we just need this then? Just gonna do this. Before we do this, let's just comment this out, because we might just have to do it on here right now. But you can't, this is not a collaborative environment.
Okay.
But, I mean, if you can write code, okay, successfully executed, so we can print something. I mean, right now it would work, so we'd have to write code in the code bunk. Cool, that does work. Okay, cool. Wonderful. So here's what we're gonna do. So we can start learning. We're gonna write code in here, and then we can hop over to the code, compile, and run. So I'll send you. I'd be sending you a link. Chat.
Okay.
Chef.
I got it anyways. Don't worry.
Okay.
I still see what
So
it
I
is.
guess-
Yeah, I still see
Yeah,
what it is.
so-
So actually,
Okay.
hang on a second. I'm just going to create this into my own personal one, like personal little session there. Downsize this.
That is cool
Size.
background.
Thank you.
And it's so clean. Like, take a look at mine. Like, I have everything everywhere, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, that would irritate me to no end.
Yeah, it irritates some people. So I think what we're going to do right now is we're going to basically write in CodeBunk, so it's collaborative.
Okay.
And when we want to run it,
Switch over
we can
Code Chef.
both go to Code Chef.
Okay, that works.
So when I ran it last time, our fancy code, it gave me that there's a syntax error.
Okay.
And it says where it's in the dots. So when I look at format on learn X and Y minute, there it actually looks like there's the overarching parentheses. So from what I've seen, it's actually supposed to be that. If this works. No, I don't want to save. Let's Z out of this. Hi. So it should have that. So it looks like what we need is there we go, like something like that.
Okay.
Let's see if this works. So yeah, next time before we do this, I'll take a look at code and try to do this. Oh, there we go. So run it and take a look.
Okay. It's submitting. Oh, and it goes below.
Yeah, it's
undeclared identifier X.
What? What did you? Oh, I see. You're in the Dropbox above.
Ah, I see.
That says PAS something.
Yeah.
Change that to Pyth 3.6. It's near the bottom.
Near the bottom? Okay. Pi 3.6. Okay.
Yeah, click on Pyth 3.6.
Got it. Alright. And run.
There
Makes
we go.
sense.
Okay. Wonderful. Now try it again.
Okay, it's running. There we go. But it only got,
There we go.
yeah, and it only got to 4. Okay. Oh!
Exactly. So it starts at 0, and it goes to 4. Because once it gets to 5, the test, the x is less than 5, comes back false. Because 5 is equal to 5.
So if I really want to do it, it would be like the way I want it. It would be like this, and then I'd want it to be like this. So it goes from killed 1 to 6.
Yes, you would have to go 1 to 6. Can you edit it in CodeBunk?
Yeah, I'll do that in a second. So it'd be boom, and there you go.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Yes, that is what. And sweet. So let's go ahead over back to CodeBunk. But yeah, good job. You have that. So the while loop has three parts. Every while loop has this. It has an initialization. I bet I spelled this wrong. Initialization. I hope this works. It has a test. It has an update. So this is a while loop. You'd use this to be like, I don't know how. So basically, x is less than 6. It's a very simple loop, we can tell kind of when it ends. You know, if you trace through, we know it's going to be like, hey, this is going to run 5 times. Print this. What if the while loop gets bigger, or there might be stuff like, you know, a game, we could say, we don't know how many times this loop needs to run, so we while until some condition is false. So how a while loop works is basically we have the initialization, we hit the test, we go down here, we update, and then we go to the test again. So, Asmodam, tell me, what do you think would happen if we didn't have line?
It would just continue indefinitely.
It would. You were very correct. Cool. So now we have another kind of. We have a while loop, and then we have another loop called a for, F or R. And basically, the difference between a while loop and a for loop is the initialization, the test, and update are all in the same place.
Okay.
And the reason why you basically most people use a for loop because the for loop is more of a I know the test is going to run X many times. It's a bit easier. So I need to quickly. I think I know how fors work. But I'm just gonna make sure because I know Python's weird. I'm just gonna find it. Let's do a control. All right, for I in range. Okay. Of course, it's really fancy. So, you know, I'm just gonna try this. We're gonna see if that. So if I go to for, I'm gonna use y is equal to 0. Oh, I don't think this will work at all. All right, so in most languages that are not Python, a for loop would look like this: for x is equal to 0, semicolons, x is 6, x is 1. These right now. So, in most other languages, x is equal to 0 is the initialization.
Mm-hmm.
X is less than 6, the test, and x equals x plus 1 is the update. So as you can see, everything we need for the loop is in one place.
Yeah.
The loop, we could make it different, you know, make the while loop, but here's the for loop. So I don't know if Python accepts this syntax. And I'm not willing to try it. So we're going to do instead. We're going to do what Python wants us to do. So if we do a simple, so remember how I talked about functions last time? Well, those are coming back. Let me help us out. So range 4 will basically, I believe, print out, I think, 0, 1, 2. And basically each number that range outputs is stored in. So we could then do this, print y. Now if we take this and you can, you know, copy it and paste it into your code chef, it should print out on each line just a number.
Okay, and go to code chef.
It does. Okay, that works.
Run. 0, 1,
so
2,
you should
3,
get
4.
0 through 4. So that's how.
Oh, 0 through 3.
0 through 3. So this is how for loops work. You can also use it with the lists later. But this is how basically for loops. So we have the two kind of basic loops are we have a while loop and a for loop. A while loop we mostly always use when we don't know how many times the loop needs to run. We use a for loop when we know how many times the loop needs to run.
Okay.
So we finally got everything we needed. We might not be able to get the guessing game done because of that fiasco that we had, code bunk, which we can figure out. But now we kind of have everything we need to make a game, a better game.
Okay.
We're gonna do the code guessing game, and we're gonna make it so the computer No, so where you will guess the closest number. So, in order to do this, we need to, one, we need to get a random number that we will guess. We need to then, once we get a random number that we will guess, we need to then... It's basically a while loop. We need to then guess. There, that's it. We need to step 1, get a random number. 2, 10, guess until we win.
Okay.
That's basically what we need to do. So now let's break these 2 steps down. We're gonna leave get a random number that we will guess out right now. We will first start. So basically, we're gonna take line 10, guess until we win, and we're gonna break it down into smaller steps.
Okay.
Because the key for a software engineer is to handle complexity. To that, we're gonna break things down into smaller steps. So on line 12. So you know how, like, to give you a real world example, here's how to bake a cake. Get ingredients, put ingredients together, put in the oven. 3 steps to bake a cake. And technically I'm correct. But if we wanted to break it down, we would have to be like, go to the store, grab ingredients, put wet ingredients in, put dry ingredients in, mix together, go into a cake thing, put in the oven, set oven to this time, bake for X many minutes, take out. It's the same thing. We end up with a cake, but it's just more steps.
Yeah.
But as you can see, the more steps are more well defined.
Yeah.
That's what we're aiming for. So, in this game of you think of a number and I keep guessing your number, I mean high or low, what kind of are the steps we need to go through kind of with the computer to do this?
Well, if we're going to do for the guessing part, we first need an input for that. So
yes, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so to do the input, I'm trying to remember from last time. I think it's just we start with like an input like this, and then...
Hold on. Hold on. You are going in the correct location. However, I want to take a guess until we win and break that down into English sentences that define a smaller step in the process.
Okay, well, obviously we need an input from the user, and we also would want it to be within a certain like area. Like, let's say if we make a random number, it'll be between 1 and 1,000, let's say.
Yes. So before that, before we get this, so we've already got a random number that we will guess. The computer's already generated the random number.
Okay.
We're gonna get there later. The first part we're gonna do is just guess until we win, and then we're gonna go back to how to get it.
Okay, so then we input a number. It will give us feedback of higher or lower. Then we guess another number, and then we get another feedback of higher or lower.
Very correct. So take that and put those into comments. So basically comment it out, write it down, and then we'll be able to kind of see a pattern to what we're trying to aim at. Get hot. Correct. That sounds great.
Okay.
So, input a number, get a number that's higher or lower, get a return that's higher or lower, and then guess another number. Cool. So, perfect. That's cool. And we can actually now, and so we guess a number. So really, this keeps going until we guess the correct number. Correct?
Yeah.
So what kind of loop do you think? Because we don't know how many times we need this.
Yeah, so I guess it would be the if.
That is the condition. We have the while loop and the for loop.
Oh, sorry, the while. I'd say it's while.
You are correct. Why do you think it's while?
Because for is for when you know how many times it's going to come back. While is better for we don't know how anything other than it's just this is what we need it until.
Yep, you are so correct. Good job, Mr. Asmodancer. So, now we need to set up. So, the three parts of a while loop are the initialization, the test, and the update. Lucy, can you not do that? Can you just not shake your head and shake your collar because you're so damn cute? So, the initialization. When do we know that the loop is done? Before that, when do we know we need to stop guessing?
Well, that's when the input matches the random number.
Yes.
So.
Yes. So, how do we capture that? We use a Boolean variable because it's true or false.
Right. So that'd be, for example, I got rid of while apparently. Whoops.
That's fine.
While.
Before we get to while, we're at a step before while.
Okay.
How do we store?
Right.
So we would store a Boolean if we have guessed the correct number.
Mm-hmm.
If we haven't guessed the correct number, we keep looping. If we have guessed the correct number, we don't loop again.
So we need to have a setup of like rando equals then whatever the number is, like whatever the code we're going to use to generate the number. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to leave that like that. And then we'll also need the input, and then, which I can't remember how we're going to put it. I think that's going to be just...
Yeah, no worries. We'll go totally figure out what the input is.
Yeah, and then it would be while... crap, I completely forgot how while worked again. Give me a second, I'm just going to quick...
Here, let me update. There, take a look at line 2.
Okay, thank you. So, while, so it'd be while input, or, yeah, or actually I'm going to change this to guess. Just so.
Good job, yes.
So while guess does not equal rando.
Mm-hmm.
And then
so you need to do a tab. The tab's key, not space tab. I think. I just use tab.
Oh, okay.
So on line 17, you would do a tab.
Okay, so then 17 and you tab.
Mm-hmm.
And
from here, you can just put do the game or something. We'll get into what the while loop is. We'll just have a place to do the game. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. So what we did was we basically took guess until we win. On line 12, we broke that down into more of a longer English sentence, but with finer steps. And then from there, we can take input a number, and we can actually now kind of turn input a number into code. We can turn get the return of higher or lower in code. We can get the guess another number into code. So this is kind of called the pseudocode programming practice, where pseudocode is basically the English description of what you want the code to do, and then this way we can think about what we need to do more in English terms, and then we can try and finally transform it into.
Okay.
So that's what we did here. So now we have the random number, which we will eventually get to how to get a random number. We have the guess, which is the input. And we're going to assume, again, right now, that the user will input everything correctly, and we don't have to worry about, like, in case it's incorrect, in case they give us a string, in case they give us characters. We're not going to worry about that. We're going to assume that they give us what we're looking for. So now that we're here, so we have the initialization, which will be on line 14 and 15. We have the test, which is on line 16. Mm-hmm. Now we need sorry. The line 16 involves both the test and sorry. Now we need to update. So we need to then get another guess.
Yeah.
And so we basically reassign guess to a. So we just look at this. Here we go. Something like that. So there we go. Now we have all the parts of the while loop. We have the initialization, 15, test on line 16, and then the update on line 18.
Yeah.
So now, before we go any further, we can actually walk through this test and make sure it's correct. And by correct, we have to make sure it does what we expect it to do. Because there is a difference between it runs successfully and does what we need it to do, and it runs successfully and it doesn't do what we need to do.
Okay.
That is a big thing. So, I'm going to I'm going to walk through one scenario. I'm going to walk through a scenario. So, line 14, the computer generates a random number that can be guessed. Line 15, the user guesses. We get the first guess from the user. While guess does not equal random, we're going to right now say it doesn't.
Okay.
We do the game, so this is like, oh, your guess is too high. Go lower.
Yeah.
And the user would enter something low. And so line 18 would then get another guess that would hopefully be lower, but the user can put it. So then it would go back to 16. If the guess does not equal rando, we do the same thing again. Now let's say we get to line 18, and the guess does equal the random number. Once we get to the test on line 16, it'll go, oh, the guess does equal the random number, and lines 17 and 18 will not execute because the test is now. Somebody followed me. Did follow me. Somebody followed me.
Duckster.
Who?
Duckster.
Duckster, thank you so very much for the follow. You're awesome. So now let's say in line 16, our guess equals the random number. So that means the while loop does not execute. And then from there, we will then go to line 19 or whenever the next code, wherever the next. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So now that we have this general code flow, how it works, and then here's the other thing. Because line 16, basically since the while loop will keep executing until the user has guessed the correct number, once we get out of the while loop and get below it, we can assume that the user has guessed the correct number.
Okay.
And that's something, so that's more about assumptions that we'll get into later. But, so, now, let us get a random number. We need to generate a random number and store it in. So can you do me a favor, Mr. Sir?
Okay.
Can you go onto your favorite search engine and probably type something like Python get random number? Because at the moment I don't even know how to get random.
Okay. Okay.
And so a nice site for programming questions like this is actually Stack Overflow, but sometimes Stack Overflow is not the first answer, which is
Well, what I found was, oops. Yeah. Okay, was that.
correct. That works.
So I just want to, okay, because I already have that. I'm just going to throw that into Code Chef and run it. Because it's going to print out the random number for us.
Mm-hmm.
Trace back, most recent call, for invalid syntax.
Random.rand int. That might be because this is Python a different Python. Because Python 2 and Python 3.6.
I did Google Python 3, but it looks like it just gave me Python.
Oh, this says 3.7.4. Okay. I see. Random choices. It's not. And it sucks because sometimes you'll find something like, here's all the stuff on how to do this, but not actually like code that tells you how to do something.
Okay,
Let's try them. Random dot. I think that's how it works. I think I figured it out. If this is running. Oh, runtime error. Okay. So yeah, random number is something you need per. And this is a lot of programming. Okay, I figured it out.
Okay.
We do. This is random dot. We do random dot random according to this website right here.
Okay. So if I did this, see, go back over. See, I started to get that.
That's fine. I've done like 6 years of searching on the internet.
It's still not working. Invalid syntax.
Can you? What did you just? Oh, you just did random dot random.
Yeah.
Because I think random dot. I think no. If you want a between something. Oh, rand int 1 to 10. I think actually what I gave you actually. I should have.
I just went.
You print needs parentheses. Remember?
Right, it does.
So try that. What I put in.
I still got an error, but it's a lot less of an error. Type random parentheses, no arguments.
Oh yeah, random doesn't take arguments, so you would want to do a rand, R-A-N-D-I-N-T. You can actually take a look at the code bunk.
So
actually, before you take a look at the code bunk, don't take a look at the code bunk. Do what I did. And here now, you can take a look at the code.
okay, I changed random to the second random in random.random, so it's now random.rand int 1, 101, and now I got a heck of a lot. So I guess that's range of 10, right? So we don't want range of 10, we want range of 1, because we only want it once, right?
Rand int, so if you have like a 1, 10, you're going to integer from 1 to 10 to the endpoints of the following. 1 to 101 would be 1 to 101. So
okay.
Basically, yes. Whatever range you call.
So this is what we basically want, because we only want one random number.
We want one random number, so we wouldn't for loop, but we want a random number between the number 1 and 1 or something.
Yeah, so we'd want... So instead of having a for loop here, we would have import random, but we wouldn't want it, obviously we wouldn't want it to print.
We'd want it to assign it to a variable.
So this would be, instead of it being here, so we go, just delete that for now. Let's do x equals
correct, but we already have a variable on line 14 for that, don't we?
Wait. Oh yeah, right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Rando. So rando equals random dot rand int. So this and do I need to do a tab
Copy
here?
line no. Remove that tab. Copy line 20 and 21.
Okay.
And then paste it over line 14.
Over line 14.
Yeah, so highlight all 14 and just paste. There you go. That's what we're looking for.
Okay. So then
so to give you a quick import is basically like, so remember we spoke of libraries a bit before last episode. Import is saying, hey, there's this library called random. I want to import it into my code so I can call what you have on your library.
Okay.
I don't know the effects of code size or code execution time or anything like that. I just know that's what it is. So now we have the random number that they want to guess between numbers 1 and 101. So now we need to get the guess.
Okay. And guess is going to be an input.
Correct. But we have something a bit more because we want to guess and then convert that to an integer.
Yes.
So I'm just searching Python 3.6 get input and convert to integer, and the first thing I get is a Stack Overflow question. Python 3's input so we have to explicitly convert int to an ints. I see. Okay. So what we basically have to do is before we get the input, so you remember how input works, right? Just with the input keyword.
Yeah.
So what I found is basically we would have to just basically that input, and then we do like and so on line 16, enter number tells the user to enter a number, and then we basically get that number back as a string. And then we use the word int, or int, which stands for integer, to convert that string to an integer.
Okay.
And that is stored in guess. Now, guess does not equal rando should do what we need it to do. So, before we go any further, we can test to make sure what we have kind of works. So basically we want to test two things. We want to test, basically we want to be test correctly, and we want to test incorrectly. So by that I mean we want to test to make sure our guess does not equal the random number, and our guess does equal the random number.
Okay.
So what we can do to do that, because we're developers, so we can cheat. We can do this. The number to guess is there. Now we can actually see what the computer's guessing. And then this way, since we know what the computer's guess is, we can now enter the number that we know is correct or not.
Okay, so copy paste over to this. Run.
It should work.
Output runtime error NZEC. Traceback file EOF when reading a line. End of file.
Error file name rando is not defined. What do you mean rando is not? Just did that. Rando is defined. Oh, because I didn't paste anything. That's why. Okay. Let me paste this first. And see, this is what happens when you get more into like bigger programs. Is you have to start testing it. There we go. Enter number. End of file when reading line. Oh, it didn't.
Didn't take the input.
Oh. Okay, hold on. Let me see something. Okay, so next to the run button, to the left, it says custom input.
Yeah.
Click that.
Okay.
And then there, basically, it's when it needs to get input, it's going to take the first number we give it.
Okay.
So, however, the only problem with this is we don't know what the random number is off the top of our head. We can't figure it out. So what we could do is, so there's one way to fix this, which is instead of making a random number, we can actually just say on CodeBunk, we can go like this, and then we can just say we can actually assign it the value of like, and that way we know what rando is. And now we can test this to be like, does the loop go in? Does the loop not go in?
Yeah.
And we can test that.
Okay, so go to here, put that 10, put the input, run. Running. The number to guess is 10. Enter a number, blank. And then the input is 10. It doesn't really put anything.
Yeah, because we don't have anything that says like print if you're in the while loop, print when you're not in the
True.
while loop. We don't have that. So, Asmodan, I think we found a good place to stop right now.
Oh, okay.
We actually got a lot, good for you keeping up, and good, thank you for your help on trying to figure things out. So what we got done was we did while loops, we looked at for loops, we looked at the 3 parts of a loop, so the initialization, test, the update. We started to do some pseudocoding for line, to basically start to figure things out. Basically, we have to take an idea and break it down. So this is the same thing like when I was doing maze generated in C#, I had to be like, I'm going to make a maze. All right, now I need to break that down into smaller steps that can write down the code.
Okay.
And then we started with the number guessing game. So we made it so the computer can guess a random number. We made it so we can get a guess. We set the while loop. And now next episode, we'll probably finish this out, hopefully with code running.
Okay.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take all of this, and I am going to save it to my desktop. And so that way, when we come back, we have the code. So yeah, guys, thank you. Asmodan, thanks for being with us. I hope you learned something. Oh, by the way, just to let you know, Asmodan, if you want, you can continue with this outside of these episodes. If you want, you are not required to do this here.
I probably will try and fiddle around. But is there if you know a good way, a good environment that I can just work on things on my own that is very much like CodeBunk, because I actually like the setup for CodeBunk. But it's
research IDEs and let you know offline.
That would be greatly appreciated.
And I can figure those out. I'll have to take some time because I don't even have Python on my computer right now.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll figure that out offline. But yeah, so I guess I'll just do my outro first. Everyone, lurkers who are lurking, thank you for lurking. Watchers who are watchers, thank you so very much for watching. Bots who are botters, thank you so much for botting. This was fun. We learned a lot. We learned about while loops, for loops. We learned about the 3 parts of a loop. And we started to do the random number guessing game. If you guys at home want an extra challenge, you can actually kind of reverse this and go, you guess the starting number, and the computer actually has to guess what your number is. And Asmodan, do you have anything you want to say to you watching?
Thanks for everybody for coming by. Thank you, Fireball. I'm just going to keep calling you Fireball because that's what I know you.
Call me Fireball.
Okay, thank you, Fireball, for teaching me. This is actually quite informative.
Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, I'm going to be back I'm going to be shutting down the stream for about 5 minutes after this, and then after the 5 minutes, I will be back for Persona 5. I just got to put my kid to bed first, who's currently staring at me from the in the hallway. Just like a creepy kid, just standing in the hallway staring at me.
Well, then you should probably do that.
Yeah.
All right, Asmodan. See you later.
All right. Thanks everybody for coming by. See ya.
And Moonman, I'm sorry.